Hello everyone, Crash here, this is RTA Motorsports, and today we're going to be unboxing and giving you my first impressions of the Oculus Quest Pro. Here we go. Okay, so let's go into a few things before we actually jump into unboxing that Quest Pro. Just some quick, simple specs here. It is running the new Snapdragon XR2 Plus chip that boasts 50% more power. That's what they claim than the Quest 2 that was before it. This one right here. It also has 12 gigabytes of RAM, and then it also has a resolution of 1800 by 1920 pixels per eye. This actually has two separate panels, one for each eye. It's actually using mini LED technology, and they state it's actually have a 37% more pixels per inch than what we're actually experiencing on the Quest 2. Now, the interesting part about that is the resolution is pretty much about the same. It's actually technically less than what we experience per eye in the Quest 2, but yet they're saying it has 37 more pixels per inch. So I guess the pixel density is a little bit tighter there. So we'll experience that hopefully firsthand once we get the headset on and see what we think and compare the two. Now, again, this is just going to be the unboxing and first impressions of this headset here. We're going to be going into a lot more detail once we actually do the full review. Okay, so let's get into the unboxing, but before we do, let's discuss the packaging itself. So you can see the box itself is actually pretty small. It's actually probably smaller than the size box that you got with the Quest 2. It's pretty close, but the Meta Quest Pro does come in a very minimalist packaging. There is pros and cons to that. The cons, of course, being you don't really feel like you're buying an elite level or a high-end level headset. You don't really get that premium feel. The pros, of course, are we have less trash, less things in the landfill because they only supply you with what's needed to make sure your headset gets you safely. Now, even though the box is small, again, I have not heard of any situations where any headsets were delivered damaged. So it is basically the minimum required to make sure that your headset's to you safely, but you kind of lose a little bit of that presentation of like that big giant box, things that we used to really experience with the original Valve, for instance, the Valve Index or the Pimax headsets. You don't really have that same feel here. It feels much like the Quest, but we do have the logo here, the Meta Quest Pro, their new logo. It's no longer Oculus. You do have some nice colors here, and I think this is kind of harkening through their Passthrough. And these Quest Pros only come in the one flavor, and that's with the 256 gigabyte memory. So let's go to the top. You can see we do have the new Meta logo there, that little infinity symbol. And let's spin this around. And we do have on the back of the packaging, you can see 1, 2, and 3 there. These are the list of things inside the box. So we have the Meta Quest Pro headset, number 1. Number 2 are the new Meta Quest Touch Pro controllers. And we'll go into those a little bit more later. And then number 3 is the dock that comes included, which I think is actually really cool with the headset. It also comes with the power adapter, controller charge cable. If you don't want to use the dock, I guess separately, the charging cable for the headset itself, 2 stylus tips for the controllers, 2 light blockers left and right. We don't have the facial interface material like we do with the Oculus Quest 2 or any other VR headset for that matter. This is just going to be blockers on the side, and it's optional whether or not you want to use them. They will be selling a facial interface similar to this design at a later date. It may even be available now for all I know, but it is coming later on from the launch. Cable clip, a protective cover, cleaning cloth, and 2 wrist straps. So let's get into the headset itself. Let's take it out of here. All right, there we go. And this is the inside box. The box in a box, as I like to say. Now you can see it's just a cardboard box. Again, minimalist design. We do have the white Meta Quest Pro logo there. And let's take the lid off. All right, before we go any further, just one quick note here. Just want to say thank you to my good friend who lent me his headset for review. He has already used his headset for a little bit. He repackaged it up as close to how he found it as possible, so that way we can do the unboxing with you all and kind of bring you into my experience here. Again, this is my first time experiencing this headset, but this is not the first time he lent me a headset for review. And I just want to say, again, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Okay, so the first thing that really hits me looking at this headset for the first time is honestly how small it is. This headset is tiny in person compared to, you know, all the things I was reading, all the videos I was watching. You really don't get a sense of scale for the headset in any of those videos until you see it in person. This thing is small. And the next thing I could say is really just how balanced it feels. That's actually quite surprising. That also makes it feel lighter because the weight is evenly distributed between the front and the back. Now, the way they designed this one, not only do you have the pancake lenses aiding in the size as far as the length of the front here, because they could really get those lenses real close to the screens, but they also put the battery in the back here. Now, there's a lot of aftermarket options for the Quest 2 to get the battery in the back, and a lot of people do utilize that to kind of even out the weight distribution, but this comes straight out of factory that way. So let's go into really just comparing the size, because that's really kind of the thing that's getting me really excited right now, is just how small this thing is and compact compared to the Quest 2. So I have my Quest 2 right here, and we'll flip them upside down because I think that this forehead strap here could kind of skew as far as the way it looks and how deep it looks. But let's put them nose to nose here, and let me get rid of my webcam, and you could really get a sense for how small the Quest Pro is compared to the Quest 2. Really there. Look at the nose cup. You're maybe like losing 1.5 inches of depth there, maybe even more compared to the Quest 2. It's absolutely insane. It's crazy how much smaller they really made this Quest 2, the Quest Pro. Quest Pro is almost like a visor compared to this VR headset. Really, I mean, that size difference is pretty massive off the front of the head. So that may also feel a lot more comfortable because you don't have that torque pulling down on the front of your head there because of that battery, and all the electronics are all in the front, and all you have is the strap trying to pull it back. So you're not going to have all that weight resting on underneath your eyes, on your cheeks. It's all going to be around the crown of your head the way it should be. So let's take a look at the design of this a little bit more. The Quest Pro does have a glass front. Now, I don't know really how I feel about that yet. I have heard reports on how durable it is, people dropping it, and the glass not breaking. I'm not going to try that because, again, this is not my personal headset. Now, the front of the headset does have 5 sensors. We have 2 outbound sensors and 3 in the front here to manage your tracking in space. We do have 5 internal sensors. Now, these 5 internal sensors manage facial tracking and eye tracking. So we'll go into that a little bit more later. You can see the volume is now located on the bottom here. And then we have the power button located on the bottom there. Also on the inside of the straps, I'll try to see if I could get this as visible as possible. You can sort of see it there. This is now the speaker design. You no longer have the speakers at the front of the headset blowing over your ears. You have them blowing right into your ears. We do have an eye relief adjustment in the front here, so you could see the cushion moving in and out there. That eye relief adjustment is for if you wear glasses or anything like that, or if you want to just move those lenses away from your eyes or closer to your eyes, depending on how you see fit for your facial design, for the way that your face is. So, and on the back here, we do have it's no longer a ratchet. It is just a wheel here to bring the back in and out. On the Quest 2 is more of a ratchet. The back cup here that cups the back of your head for stability, really large. So that's going to even out how much pressure is being given to the back of your head. You should eliminate some pressure points. The one interesting design here is being that we don't have a facial interface material or anything really there, although they are going to be selling one. We only have this forehead area here. I have heard about that sort of giving some people some headaches, depending on how their face and head are shaped. It may cause a lot of clamping force there. I'll test it out and see if it actually bothers me at all. We do have a headphone jack here in the corner, right about there. So if you are using your own headphones, that's where you would attach them to. And yeah, so that is pretty much the Quest Pro. So let's put that to the side. And next, we will look at the next item in the box here, and that is the Pro controllers. So these controllers here, they do have a chip on the inside of each one, and it does have 3 sensors on each one. So you can see a camera there, and a camera there. And that goes for either one. Now, these here are self-tracked, so you could literally have your controller behind your back, and it's being fully tracked. So Beat Saber, any first-person shooter, if you're grabbing for something behind your back, whatever you're doing, fully tracked. You no longer have to worry about occlusion, which was a big issue with any sort of headset that is tracked like the Quest or the Quest 2. Now, the interesting thing is with these controllers, being that we no longer have the tracking ring and they are self-tracked, they are actually compatible with the Quest 2. So you could buy these independently if you play a lot of first-person shooters and you constantly have issues with, trailing off controllers, or if you play Beat Saber a lot and you are competitive, you really want the best tracking controllers you can for the Quest platform, you could buy these independently and run them with your Quest 2. So you don't need the Quest Pro for these controllers. The nice thing about them is also that they're rechargeable. So with the Quest 2, and it wasn't so much an issue on the Quest 2, it was more of an issue on the Quest 1, but you always have these, and see, I can't even take it off now to demonstrate it, but you have these side panels here with the battery that you have to put in, and more so with the Quest 1 than the Quest 2, if you grip the controller hard enough, every once in a while you'll pull them off. Now, the Quest 2, much better design, happens a lot less frequently, if at all. A lot of people reported that they no longer had the issue. I think it happened to me once, whereas with the Quest, the original Quest, it used to happen quite frequently where that battery door will come down. That is no longer an issue. You recharge your controllers. The controllers themselves have a battery internally, and there is no longer a door that we have to worry about. There's also a nice textured material on here. The controllers themselves, they are plastic, but they do feel like they have a rubberized coating on them. And that texture that you could sort of see there kind of gives itself a nice premium feel. It really does feel really nice in the hand, and it doesn't feel like it's going to move at all. Now, of course, you can't let go of them. It's not like the Knuckles controller, but there are accessories out there to really kind of give you that feel as far as being able to let go of it and it stay in your hand. So there's already accessories out there for these controllers to really make them, fully versatile, kind of like the Knuckles. But I do like the weight of them. I do like the appearance of them. They are very premium feeling. I would say the triggers feel very similar to the Quest 2, maybe a little bit weightier. The buttons do have a nice feel to them as well. It really does feel and look like a premium controller. So that is nice there too. And that does match the Quest Pro headset aesthetic, because really outside the packaging, the Quest Pro does feel like a quality product, especially with that all glass front. Really does feel special in the hand. So let's take this off here. And now, okay, so we're greeted with the dock. So this dock here is what you would put on your desk or put on your shelf that you have to actually charge your headset and your controllers. So the headset would sit in this top part here and the controllers would sit in the bottom there. Yeah, let's put that to the side. Let's dig a little bit further in the box here. So these are the blinders. It says right and left on the inside there. These will go on the inside of the headset to kind of block out some of the surrounding lights. We'll definitely take a look at those. And these are the straps for the controllers themselves, so that way they don't go flying across the room. Nice little silver, almost like a cufflink, it almost looks like. Really nice looking straps here. Probably the nicest straps I've seen come with controllers, so that's pretty cool. All right, let's look at this box here. All right, so these are the cables. So we do have this here. So we have a, oh, this is the controller charge cable, and you can see it's just probably a magnetic sort of attachment point, and those are the 3 pins there. And on this side, we have the charging dock cable. Okay, and that's actually a pretty long cable considering it's for the charging dock. And I would imagine this is, yep, this is the power brick itself. So USB-C attachment there at the bottom, and that is the power brick there. And these look like just some books there on the inside. So let's move this all to the side, and no space was wasted. This is the inside of the lid. So on the inside of the lid here, we do have the front protector for when you're not using your headset. Now, one thing I did read, oh, that's nice. It's got like a, almost like a velour material on the inside there, and you have an activity light in the front, a hole for the activity light in the front. I would imagine that's an activity light. Not really sure. We'll take a look at that for the full review, but this goes over the front to protect it as much as possible. Now, I did read, and I am going to test this out, that some were having issues with this protectant on, to actually have it charge on the dock. They were saying that they were having to remove this to have it charge on the dock. So I thought that would be a little bit weird, but I will test that out and let you guys know in the full review. All right, so let's throw the headset on, make sure it's updated, get logged in, and I'll give you my first impressions. Okay, so we got the headset on, and now I am testing the pass-through. I gotta say, it is pretty weird. It is pretty freaky. It is tracking my hands. Everything looks stereoscopic. There are some issues with warping. I do gotta say the color is pretty immersive. Not having the blinders on the sides is not that bad when you're doing pass-through at all, because your outside world in your periphery lines up perfectly with what you're seeing in the headset. And being that what you're seeing in the headset has that stereoscopic sort of look to it, it is actually, everything looks three-dimensional. I could see depth pretty well, although sometimes some things are kind of getting a little sort of warped here and there. But not having the blinders on feels natural. It really does. I feel like as I'm turning my head, things are appearing now in the headset. Now they're appearing in my periphery as they naturally would. So this is actually pretty cool. And I do feel open and airy. I don't feel like that my outside world is glaring at all on the lenses. Also, talking about the lenses, the new pancake style lenses, absolutely in love. I think every headset should have them. I can literally look all the way to the left, all the way to the right, and they are clear. It's beautiful. To adjust the lenses, you do manually move the lenses around to your IPD. They are not using the eye tracking to mechanically adjust the lenses. So that's a little bit of a letdown. But with that being said, once you get the IPD in place, which is not hard to do, it does walk you through it through the initial setup. This is beautiful. This is absolutely gorgeous. Now, you can see on the recording, I would imagine so, there is a graininess to the appearance, especially in the darker areas. Everything kind of has like a graininess to it, very similar to what you experience in the Quest 2. There is a grainy sort of look to it. Also, I'm looking at my screen here, and I cannot read any of the text. I could see myself on Streamlabs OBS here. I could see icons, and I could see these icons, which are video files of what we're recording right now, but I can't read any of it. So for productivity, looking at your own screen, not usable. But I do get the basic gist of, like, right now I'm looking at myself and I can tell that's me. I do kind of look blown out though. So it's not perfect. Let me turn around and take a look around the rest of the room. Okay, so going over to my simulator, if there was any sort of like selective pass-through, that would be amazing, because looking at my simulator, sitting behind my simulator, everything looked amazing as far as being able to see my shifter clearly, seeing my gauges clearly. Oh man, I could definitely see the future with this headset. I really can, or at least this colored pass-through technology. But yeah, let's jump into title and see what it's like. Okay, so we're inside the rig right now, and you can see we're in a car. Now, I don't have the blinders on. I want to test it without the blinders, as this is a unique trait of the Quest Pro, that we have the option to have it completely open. I do gotta say, it's kind of neat because I have it situated in such a way where the steering wheel virtually is lining up. I can see about half the steering wheel, and it's lining up with the bottom half of my real life steering wheel. So, and it's also kind of neat that my arms are disappearing and the virtual hands are appearing actually in line. So it's pretty cool. In my periphery, I can see my shifters. We're going to be using the sequential shifter this time with this car here. Something's going on with my H pattern. I don't know what's going on here, but let's get on the track and let's discuss getting this thing set up, because we are running it in AirLink. You can see there's nothing attached to the headset right now. It was a little bit of a process getting it completely going the way I wanted to. Now, attaching it to AirLink as far as connecting it to your PC was just as easy as it is on the Quest 2, regarding just going to the options, selecting your PC, and getting it going once you have it running on your PC. As far as the meta software, I keep wanting to call it Oculus, but getting that meta software running on your PC, and then just basically following the prompts inside the headset to get everything connected for AirLink. Super easy. But once it was running, I kind of noticed that we were having like a data throughput issue. Woo! And I was able to actually go in the options on the headset itself and turn it to a fixed data throughput of 160 megabits per second. Because leaving it on dynamic seemed to... it just kept wanting to lower all the way down to the lowest setting, and I was noticing a resolution decrease, as well as a lot of artifacting on the screen. All the lines looked very jagged. Just didn't look as good as it should at all. It was very surprising, and I'm not really sure if there's some Wi-Fi issues that are known with this headset, because these are issues that I don't really have with the Quest 2 with AirLink. But once we put it on a fixed setting, I wanted to put it all the way up to 200 megabits per second, which is the top setting, but I started noticing a lot of laggy, choppy sort of performance there, which I know my router can handle, so I'm not really sure what's going on. Maybe it's something with the headset itself. I'll have to investigate that further, but 160 seems to be working just fine. It just doesn't look as good as it should. It is a little bit muddy still. There are some noticing some compression artifacts here and there when I'm staring at different textures, but overall I could read the entire dash in this vehicle, and it looks really really well up and close, but just off in the distance is really where you kind of notice where it does look a little bit mushy. I do gotta say, driving with the blinders off is actually not bad. This is actually a really nice experience. Seeing my arms kind of disappear into the virtual arms is actually pretty immersive, surprisingly enough. And does feel nice and open and airy. The FOV does feel a little bit wider than the Quest 2. What also kind of lends you into feeling that is really just how clear these lenses are all the way to the periphery. These lenses are beautiful. I really, if I buy another headset, this is a must, is really having pancake lenses, because you really get a nice sort of natural feeling looking through them where you can move your eyes side to side and you really can just take advantage of the whole lens naturally instead of having to always turn your head. Also, there's zero God rays because there is no Fresnel grooves cut into the lenses. Everything is just the way it should be. It is a little weird using a sequential shifter and then having to use a clutch. Should have put it on auto clutch, but it just felt wrong. So I'm not getting any sort of laggy performance as far as what I'm experiencing on the screen and what I'm inputting. You know, the steering wheel is lining up with my real life steering wheel beautifully. It's actually pretty immersive being able to see my real steering wheel in conjunction with this virtual one. It's just, I really have to figure out what the performance issue is with AirLink, because I think if I could get this fixed all the way at 200 megabits per second and really crank that resolution or take advantage of the resolution, this would be a much better, prettier experience, because I'm kind of getting this weird like sharpening effect where everything kind of looks cartoony in a way. It's another weird thing kind of going on. And, you know, even though we do have face tracking on and eye tracking and all that, I didn't, oh wow, how did we not hit the wall on that one? I didn't see any options to really take advantage of foveated rendering or anything like that. Maybe that's not available with the AirLink yet. I digged into some settings and I didn't really see anything, so I'm going to have to really investigate that and see what's going on there. But so far, tracking has been beautiful. I haven't really had any issues. We don't have the motion rig going. Just for this initial impressions, I don't really feel the need to have motion going in the rig. But so far, so good. This is a respectable experience that I'm feeling here. Tracking is working just fine. AirLink connected very easily, although the performance was something else. That might be a known issue I just have to look into. Again, with these newer products, you know, sometimes it takes a few updates before things are as they should be. Okay, so you can see I'm pretty sweaty now, and it's all because I've just been jamming out with this headset right now. I do gotta say, this headset did surprise me in some ways with some key features, but in other ways, I need to do some investigating before we do the full review. There are some things that I hope we have available to us for instance, foveated rendering with the use of eye tracking on PC. I'm not sure if that's something that's available yet. If you know that answer, let me know in the comments down below. Also, I need to figure out what's going on with AirLink. Now, I can connect it with a wire, but you know, the magic of Quest is really just AirLink. It's just connecting wirelessly and enjoying them wirelessly. Never really had an issue cranking full throughput on my Quest 2 with my router and experiencing basically full PC VR resolution and sharpness and clarity on my Quest 2, but for some reason we had issues with this one here, and I would love to investigate it further before I give my final thoughts of this headset and really see what was going on there. But overall, I am impressed so far, not only with the form factor, how they were able to really condense everything into this small little area, which is just absolutely astounding. Of course, handing it to the fact that they have the pancake lenses now in there so they could get those micro LED screens super close, but it's just an amazing like tech demo at this point in time. But these are my first impressions and my thoughts. Again, do I think you need to run out and grab one of these headsets? I don't know yet. I need a lot more testing. Again, we just ran one car at Iracing, had a few little issues that I need to investigate. Really need to run the whole gamut, and I'll let you know. So definitely stay tuned for that full review, everybody. If you have any tips, tricks, or anything that I should be doing with this headset, definitely also let me know in the comment box below. Everyone, thank you so much for joining in and supporting this channel. If you are new to this channel, again, I go by Crash. Please subscribe, hit that like button. Helps me out more than you know. Everyone, stay safe, stay happy, and I'll catch you all next time.